All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Listen, Camelot or not? That is the question. I contend that Kamala Harris will never be president of the United States of America. Earlier, we watched a video of Tom Hanks on Saturday Night Live, their 50-year anniversary special, and they played the usual, the MAGA people are racist. We have all of the situations that are breaking with Doge and all of the corruption that we're discovering, and basically the Democrats are panicking based upon all of the corruption that Doge is finding, and they're going to be found out. But I also believe that Democrats are panicking simply because they do not have a candidate. And Kamala, if you look at certain polls that are out there right now, she's polling number one as their best chance to take back the White House in 2028. Once people come to a reality check within the next few months or so, that simply isn't going to happen. Kamala Harris is not going to be president of the United States. She is completely incapable of being president of the United States. She had a purse of over $2 billion, we're learning now, and she squandered most of that money. She couldn't string together two coherent sentences. It simply is not going to happen. So again, you have SNL. It's the same old. Democrats always tell you who they hate. Instead of how they can help you. So they're going after Trump. They're going after us. They're going after the Trump supporters again, mocking us and all that kind of good stuff. But they're only doing that because they're desperate and they are scared. You got the Arizona swing voters and this focus group that occurred earlier or over the weekend, where you've got Arizona swing voters, independents that are saying, listen, we love what's happening with Doge. We love what Trump is doing, coming right out of the gates, just swinging. 8 independents involved in that, 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat. All of them voted for Joe Biden in 2020. All of them switched their votes and voted for Trump in 2024. And Democrats are left wondering, what will we do? What should we do? And then again, all of the discoveries with Doge. You had we just found out earlier this week as well. Stacey Abrams, yes, the darling of Georgia, if you will, the lady that claimed the election was stolen from her until it was convenient to. The whole J6 narrative took place and all that kind of good stuff, and then they could say, "Oh, we never said that elections were stolen. That's only Trump and J6." So they just, the left and the media just forgot about all those years that Stacey Abrams claimed that she actually won the Georgia election when she did not. Now we find out that some of the groups that are associated with her. Were slated to get $2 billion from the EPA, of all places, out of that $20 billion slush fund that the Biden administration parked in a bank. Lee Zeldin caught it at the EPA. His people caught it at the EPA. They're grabbing that, or they're clawing that money back. Stacey Abrams was slated to get $2 billion, or her organizations, the one that she was associated with. And so she's not going to be able to run. Because I'm thinking more is going to come out of that. So what is the left to do? Is it going to be Kamala? I want to play a video clip for you. And I think once you see this video, this is Kamala. She's not in the campaign. All the pressure is off. Here she goes again. Video clip number 11. Por favor, Gabe.
For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. Yes, I mean, look this beautiful play and everything that we know. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed, and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
Yes.
Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. With that, I'll make it.
That's so embarrassing. Did you see her husband? Behind, he was looking around like, are they really buying this nonsense? He wasn't even buying it. I mean, just total nonsense. I couldn't tell whether she had just smoked a blunt before she was apparently had gone to see a couple of Broadway plays or a Broadway play, and so the actors, she was speaking to the actors, I believe, of the play, and nice of her to do so. But the bottom line is that lady is not capable of being president of the United States. We dodged a bullet like nobody's business. There's been a kind of a back and forth going on. I shouldn't even say a back and forth, but you guys may have heard Stephen A. Smith came out, ESPN. You guys know him, superstar for ESPN, their most popular sportscaster there, and he does his own podcast that's not necessarily sports or just sports or whatever. I haven't checked it out, but I saw the rant. And basically, Stephen A. Smith has been included on a list of potential Democrat candidates for 2028. That lets you know how desperate the Democrat Party is right now. And he admitted as much. Apparently, he was polling at about 2% of the vote. Which for him to get on the list, which is what he said in the first place, for me to be on the list in the first place just tells me that I'm here and the Democrat Party is here, meaning the Democrat Party has hit rock bottom. Now, James Carville came out and said, listen, Stephen A. Smith, stick to sports. I love listening to you when it comes to sports, but not when it comes to politics. Basically, that's my arena. I think that's a big mistake by James Carville because the radical left, the AOCs, the Ayanna Presleys of the world, have taken over, the Bernie Sanders have taken over the Democrat Party. They are not going backwards anytime soon. They're not paying attention to the more sensible moderates and or liberals of their party. Frankly, they rate higher than James Carville does on the intersectionality totem pole. So why should they listen to him, a white older man? They're not going to do it. The Democrat Party has been captured by the radical left. And so I think James Carville made a big mistake going after Stephen A. Smith, telling them to stick to politics, because basically they're mano a mano. They're singing the same tune. They're fighting the same fight, and they don't realize it. Watching that video, Kamala Harris, is there any doubt this woman that blew over $2 billion? You think donors are going to donate to her again? No, I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. She will not be president of the United States. There was a fantastic piece in Newsweek, or at least interesting. Will there ever be a Kamalot? A look at the ghost of Veep's past. And they talk about Dick Cheney and the accidental shooting that he had that obviously made the rounds with comics on late night TV. Saturday Night Live comedians, they mocked Al Gore's, his flat Southern accent and boring stuff like that. They mocked him. Mike Pence, remember that debate that he had with Kamala Harris? By the way, he clinged her clock. But what most people remember, sadly, is when that big old fly was attracted to his hair, right? And then you got Kamala Harris. She doesn't even compare to any of these people, frankly. You got Richard Nixon. That's another one. Dan Quayle. I know people made fun of Dan Quayle. Dan Quayle, he was so dumb. And Dan Quayle was a smart guy, but the media destroyed him on that tomatoes thing. And frankly, I don't even think he spelled it wrong. You could spell it a couple of ways, although one way is not your American way per se. But anyway, and if I recall all the turmoil, but let's just compare Kamala Harris to some of the VPs in the modern era that have made great successes of their life. And maybe because of DEI, Kamala Harris will be able to go and make some money, but she's never going to be able to win the White House. Take Richard Nixon, for example. Senator John F. Kennedy defeated Richard Nixon in 1960. In 1962, he decided to run for California governor. He lost. And then that's where he stated his bitterly famous statement, which he labeled his quote unquote last press conference, and where he declared that the media wouldn't have Nixon to kick around anymore, quote unquote. But during his political years in wilderness, this is a man that traveled the world and became a statesman. Without portfolio, he met with world leaders, practiced corporate law in New York City, prepared for what would be his successful presidential run in 1968. Kamala isn't capable of doing any of that. Even after Watergate, He wrote 8 books. He wrote a memoir. He gave public speeches, appeared on talk shows, opened up his presidential library. You have Walter Mondale. He was the vice president under Jimmy Carter. They got their butts kicked, in 1980 by Ronald Reagan. And then Walter Mondale came back for a second butt kicking in 1984. And it was a landslide victory, but still, he was a likable guy. He was a successful guy in the Democratic political arena. So in Minnesota, he was an attorney general there. Guy lived to be 93. He was in the Senate, and then he even came back as an ambassador to Japan during the Clinton presidency. And then you got Al Gore. We all know that he's a fraudster, but there's no doubt that he isn't a dummy. He's made a buttload on scamming people on climate change. But what all of these guys have in common, and they were all successful afterwards, is they had something upstairs. They had a brain. All right. They were able to think a lot, but not Kamala. It's not Kamalot. It's Kamalot. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here for My Pillow, and My Pillow is excited to announce that they're having the first ever mega sale on their overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, you can save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. The queen size is only $59.98 and the kings are only $69.98. But they sell out fast every year, so be sure to order now. You can also save 30% on their brand new Mike crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one that Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's styles, and they're made right here in the good U.S. of A. Get the 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them before they or while they last. And I can't forget to mention the My Pillow. It's just $14.98. So to take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com, use promo code Carl, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. 800-858-0263 is the number to call in. But wait, remember that $75, the $75 free shipping rule. So, that ship is sailed because right now for a limited time, every order ships free. That's right. Every order ships free. MyPillow.com, promo code Carl, or give them a call at 800-858-0263.